From post-traumatic stress to longer and more frequent deployments away from family, it's clear our military men and women need support. And just like how God miraculously supplied food to Israelites in the wilderness, Manna Church is stepping up to provide spiritual and mental nourishment for those who serve our country stationed around the world.
I think it speaks to the power of a promise from God. I believe that God gave my dad a vision, God gave my dad a promise, and I think that it's been my honor to lay my life down to fulfill the vision that God gave my dad.
Manna Church, pastored by Christopher Fletcher, is in Fayetteville, North Carolina, near Fort Liberty, one of the Army's largest installations. Fletcher says God gave to his father, Michael, a vision of how to reach the military almost a decade ago, after the church lost more than 1,100 people to military transfers in just 1 year.
And so he kind of sat back in his chair and said, this is crazy. Like, how are we going to build a church this way? We're sending people that God's beginning a work in to nobody. There are great churches at military bases. I'm not saying that, but he said, I'm tired of sending us to nobody. And so that vision was really birthed in December of 2014, and from that point forward, we've been seeking to plant an expression of Manna Church near every U.S. military installation in the world.
That would entail church plants near 273 bases that Fletcher calls the military highway.
The thing I love about 273 is it's not a vision I can accomplish. It's not wisdom that is going to be somehow inherent in me that's going to come bubbling to the surface. It requires God to move. That sort of drive gets me up in the morning. I think more believers should have God-sized visions that are terrifying when you look at them.
Currently, there are 33 expressions of Manna Church near U.S. military bases, as shown in the map behind me. The greatest concentration is here in North Carolina and in Virginia, but locations are spread out around the country and even overseas. Army Reservist First Lieutenant Todd Capon is a site pastor in North Carolina, while Air Force Special Operations veteran Riley Halliday is a lead pastor in Virginia.
So when a military family gets orders to move, we can already set them up. They already have a network of people that they can plug into. They don't have to worry about the church search or finding a church that believes the same things.
Uncle Sam, who's kind of become our mission-sending organization because he takes great talented people and relocates them. So that's kind of the vision. We have everything from microsites, which you might think of a house church. They're live streaming or they're watching one of our city sites where there's a lead pastor, someone in my role who does preaching, teaching, discipling. And then obviously if a church grows to the right scale, it'll multi-site where there's multiple campuses in a city.
Military personnel get their orders to another location as often as every 2 years. So having another Manna Church to walk into provides continuity and support. Both Executive Pastor James Lewis and his wife served in the military and know what it's like to pick up and move multiple times.
My wife and I were both out in Colorado for about 4 years, and then we moved here in 2000 to Fort Bragg. And we stayed here for 6 years, but then we moved to Kansas. So we were in Kansas for 2 years. We moved back here to Fort Bragg for 3 years to include my second deployment. Then after Fort Bragg for that second time, we moved to Baltimore where I taught ROTC at Morgan State University. And then I went to Korea and my family moved back here to Fort Bragg. So we were separated for a full year. And then I came back to Fort Bragg in 2015 and then retired the next year in 2016.
And that's just one example of what can be the life of a military family. So having the same type of church in different locations is definitely welcomed.
It's amazing. It is. It's a comfort because, again, you move, you're away from family, but yet knowing that your church family is going to be there wherever you are is amazing.
To be able to transition from one base to another base and just to know that there's a church with that exact culture, like I say, it's a great thing.
Retired Army veteran Sabrina Bentley Thompson leads Manna's Kids program in Fayetteville. Moving can be especially hard for children, having to make new friends and getting adjusted to new teachers.
It's probably harder on the kids than it is on the parents, knowing that you're changing stations, you're going somewhere else. And just to know that, hey, I'm used to this.
Familiarity, community, mental and spiritual nourishment. all elements of stability that Manna Church provides for military families on a journey full of unknowns. Mark Martin, CBN News, North Carolina and Virginia.